Hello, Namaskar and Adab to all my friends from your friend astrologer and guide Irfan, once more with you from your very own channel Astro Assurance. Firstly, if you have not subscribed to my channel yet, please subscribe to my channel, please like this video and please share my videos, because when you do, then this channel and the videos are also then shared by YouTube with others who haven't got access to my channel yet, or they don't know about my channel. So if you are a regular viewer and if you have not subscribed, or you don't usually like my videos, or at least not press the like button in spite of liking, then what happens is my videos keep getting bumped to you, but new people may not get access. So my plea to you is, please earn some good karma. Don't be selfish that the video should only be bumped up only to you. So please allow others also to be getting access to my videos by liking them, sharing them and subscribing to my channel and earning some good karma. Now the other request to you is, I have shared my WhatsApp number in the description box. The reason is so that it's easier for you guys to reach out to me, and also my email ID. And usually my phone, I access my phone, I take the phone calls, I read the messages. There is nobody else from my team who reads those messages, because I know those messages are private messages. Some of them are very confidential also. So I take the phone calls myself, I respond to the text myself. But what happens is sometimes people flood me with some messages which may not be directly related to business. I'm not talking about business related to money here. I'm talking about some challenge, some solution that people are seeking. For example, during the Eid, I got almost 1300, 400, 1400 Eid, wishes of Eid. So I'm thankful to you with your love and affection, but 1500 or maybe more. So I got tired. So initially for a few, I like to send personal messages to people, typing in their name and all that. But after some time I gave up sending personal messages. I just copied and pasted, wishing you also an Eid Mubarak or good, the Happy New Year or Happy Diwali, the festival wishes also. And after that I got tired and I just let it be. Then the second day I responded to some messages, I couldn't. So I'm sorry, my apologies to those people who I couldn't respond to. But what happens is, sometimes forget the festival time, those are one-off days, but even sometimes people will see a video, they like a video and they'll say, "Sir, very good, this is my placement, can you clarify?" Some clarification regarding my videos, those kind of messages come in. Now what happens is, I get 600, 700 WhatsApp messages every day. It's very difficult to go through all of them, respond to them. Then there are email messages also. So sometimes there may be a follow-up query of a client who has already taken a consultation, and those are important. If they want to clarify, there are still some doubts in them. Or it's a new person who wants a query answered or wants to take a consultation. Now I'm not among those astrologers who will put you on a waiting list for a week to 10 days to 15 days, and you have sent that plea, you're requesting people, please give access to me, and then somebody sends you an audio file, or they give you time after 10 days, 15 days. Why would you need to wait for so long? So I usually answer within a day or maximum 2, which means my consultation itself, from when you have contacted me to when you get a response from me as a consultation response, as my analysis, my reading response, or giving you a time slot to talk. So I give you within a day or 2. So if you are just sending me these WhatsApp messages of congratulations or great video, all that, so all those people who I need to give more time to, so that they get their consultation quickly, they get my responses very late. So it's a request to you, it's a plea to you, but all of you are welcome to still send messages. Happy New Year, Happy Diwali, Happy Eid and all. Thanks sir, what a great video, you said. That's all good. I like them, who doesn't like them? But if you can limit it, or if at all you can keep it limited to only the best of my videos, it would be a greater help not only to me but others also who are actually seeking genuine help. Now on to the topic for today. We have done a number of videos on, do you have a special planet in your horoscope, which means, do you have a special Jupiter in your horoscope, do you have a special Sun in your horoscope, do you have a special Venus in your horoscope, and so on. Today I'm talking about a very, very important planet, which is Saturn. And the reason I'm talking about Saturn as a very important one, I'm not saying it is the most important, I'm saying it is a very important, because Saturn's placement also tells you about some karmic denotations to your life, your carry forward karma, what your karmic responsibilities are, what you need to do. So Saturn being in any situation in your horoscope is definitely a special Saturn, but in some specific placement Saturn becomes a truly special Saturn. A truly special Saturn is a boon given to you by the zodiac, and so it's important to be able to identify Saturn's placement, especially if a boon is being given to you, because doing justice to the special Saturn, to the boon that the zodiac gives to you, is very, very important. So let's jump in and understand, if you have a special placement of Saturn in your horoscope which makes it a special Saturn, what it is. But before we get into it, please remember, a special Saturn usually will be without any blemishes, will be without any doshas, like Saturn in a Vish dosha with moon, even in exaltation in Libra, is not a special Saturn. Saturn in conjunction with Sun, its arch enemy, is not a special Saturn. Saturn with conjunction in a Shapit dosha with Rahu is not a special Saturn. Saturn with Ketu, the denier of results, is not a special Saturn. So some placements of Saturn in conjunction or in aspect to these planets will automatically drain the energy of Saturn. Please remember this. And Saturn debilitated even in a Nij Bhanga is not a special Saturn. Or a combusted Saturn with Sun is not a special Saturn. So keep this in mind. A planet which is a special planet has to be without any blemishes, or very hardly any blemishes. And these blemishes, if at all, should not be by conjunction, but it may be still be okay if they are blemishes through an aspect of another planet, because usually you have some or the other planet aspecting the other. Yet if Saturn is just without any blemishes, no doshas at all, no bad aspects, yet Saturn is in the placements which I am going to discuss, then it's a truly special Saturn, and it's up to you, your responsibility, your karma, to be able to use the Saturn effectively, so that not only can you do your karma well, but can also do the service which has been identified for you, the purpose of life which has been identified for you. Because remember, Saturn rules the 10th house of Capricorn in the Kal Purush Kundli. So let's jump in and see what placements of Saturn in your horoscope can make it a special Saturn. So for instance, Saturn getting into any of the Kendra houses in the own sign or in a exaltation sign surely makes it a special Saturn, especially because then it gets into a Sasha yoga, which is one of the Panch Mahapurush yogas. For example, for an Aries ascendant native, if Saturn goes into the 10th house in the Capricorn sign without any blemishes through conjunctions or aspects, makes it a truly special Saturn. And if it's a Taurus ascendant and then Saturn goes into the 10th house, now it is in the Aquarius sign, it is in the smooth Trikona sign, very powerful Sasha yoga, again it is a special Saturn, as long as there are no other blemishes as well. Then for a Cancer ascendant native, for example, Saturn going into the Kendra, which is the 7th house in its own sign of Capricorn, yet another Sasha yoga, is a truly special Saturn. Now why am I talking about special Saturn, more about the 10th and the 7th houses? Though Saturn can also get into a Sasha yoga in its own sign or in its exaltation in the 4th and the Lagna as well. But in the Lagna, Saturn loses a lot of its directional strength, and Saturn slows down a number of results in the Lagna. So in this special mention of special Saturn, I'm sorry if any of you have Saturn in a Sasha yoga in the Lagna, a lot of its energy is drained and its capacity to be able to give great results is really reduced to a large extent. So it is still a special Saturn, but it is not into the category of a very special Saturn which I am talking about in this video. So I will mention some of the placements in the 4th house also, but the most important and the most special placement of Saturn will always be in the 7th house, where it gets highest directional strength, and in the 10th house, because the 10th house are natural Capricorn sign energies, where Saturn is the natural ruler of the 10th house. Then for a Leo ascendant, Saturn getting into the 7th house in the Aquarius sign, again in the Sasha yoga, very, very strong placement for Saturn, because Saturn gets the highest directional strength again in the 7th house. Then, as I said, to a lesser extent, Saturn either in the Capricorn sign or in the Aquarius sign in the 4th house is also a special Saturn, but not as special as when it is in own sign or in exaltation sign, either in the 7th house or in the 10th house. Then Saturn in exaltation, Saturn in the 4th house in exaltation in the Libra sign, Say for example, for a Cancer ascendant native, and then for a Capricorn ascendant native, Saturn going into the 10th house in Libra sign, which means it is in the 10th house, its strongest placement, and in exaltation, and it is also the Lagna Lord. So this is one of the most special placements of Saturn for a Capricorn ascendant native if Saturn goes into the 10th house in the Libra sign. Then also for an Aries ascendant native, if Saturn goes into exaltation in the 7th house in the Libra sign, while it also rules the 10th house of karma, in the 11th house of gains, fulfillment of wishes and desires, is also very strong placement for Saturn, because here it is in the Kalpurush Kundli and in exaltation in a house where it gets highest directional strength while ruling the 10th and the 11th houses. Then I personally regard the most special placement of Saturn when it gets into a Dharam Karmadipati Yoga. What is the Dharam Karmadipati Yoga? Whenever the 9th Lord and the 10th Lord in any horoscope, they come together either in conjunction or in mutual aspect, then a strong Dharam Karmadipati Yoga forms, which means your duty also becomes your responsibility, which gives you power and influence to do a lot of auspicious things, lot of auspicious actions. And this is one of the best yogas. Almost all the texts say if you have a Dharam Karmadipati Yoga, this can be one of the best yogas, most auspicious yogas, even better than the Dhan Yoga like the Lakshmi Yoga, the Mahabhagya Yoga. So if you have the Dharam Karmadipati Yoga, it can be a very strong placement, strong yoga. However, a Dharam Karmadipati Yoga is best formed when Saturn and Jupiter come along. Why? In the Kalpurush Kundli, Saturn rules the 10th house and the 11th house, and Jupiter rules the 9th house. So in any horoscope where Saturn is ruling the 9th or the 10th house and Jupiter is ruling either of the two, and then they come together in a mutual conjunction or a mutual aspect, then a Dharam Karmadipati Yoga forms. And it is best especially where Saturn rules the 10th house. However, Saturn also rules the 9th house for a Taurus ascendant native. So Saturn, by ruling the 9th and the 10th house for Taurus ascendant native, becomes a very special planet, very special Yoga Karaka planet. However, if it's still in aspect of Jupiter, where Jupiter rules the 11th house of societal gains, 11th house of wishes and desires coming true, and if Saturn gets in conjunction or aspect, then too you can say it's a Dharam Karmadipati Yoga, though Jupiter and Saturn are not ruling the 9th and the 10th house respectively, but Saturn has both the 9th and the 10th house rulership here, and Jupiter has the 11th house rulership, and if they are in mutual aspect or in conjunction, then this is a very strong Dharam Karmadipati Yoga. And then obviously for an Aries ascendant native, if Jupiter and Saturn are in mutual conjunction or aspect with each other, because for an Aries ascendant native, Jupiter rules the 9th house by virtue of its 9th house sign being the Sagittarius sign, is Motikona sign, and the 10th house being the sign of Capricorn. So if Jupiter and Saturn get together in a conjunction or in mutual aspect for Aries ascendant native, very strong Dharam Karmadipati Yoga is formed. Mind you, either Saturn or Jupiter should not be retrograde, which is another very important placement. If Saturn is retrograde, while it is a special Saturn, it will still give you strong results, but the best results may come to you unexpectedly, and you really not know when the results may come, and they may not come timely also. So a lot of energy of Saturn is diluted if it gets into retrograde placement while it is a special Saturn. Other than this also, if Saturn rules either the 4th house or the 7th house, especially in the Kendra houses I'm talking about, and if it's in the mutual conjunction or aspect with Jupiter, then too it's a very strong placement. Saturn becomes very strong here. Saturn becomes a truly special Saturn here. And you can say it's a May Dharam Karmadipati Yoga also, because in the Kalpurush Kundli, Jupiter rules the 9th house and Saturn rules the 10th house. So for example, for a Cancer ascendant native or a Leo ascendant native or a Libra ascendant native, if Jupiter and Saturn get into mutual aspect or in conjunction with each other, then too Saturn is a truly special Saturn. Why? Because for a Cancer ascendant native as well as for a Leo ascendant native, Saturn rules the 7th house, whereas for a Libra ascendant native and a Scorpio ascendant native, Saturn rules the 4th house. So if it gets in the mutual aspect or in conjunction with Jupiter, then too you can say it's a truly special Saturn, because the best conjunction of Saturn and the best aspect of Saturn is only with Jupiter. Or if Jupiter rules the 4th house, whereas Saturn rules the 5th house, for example, as it happens for a Virgo ascendant native, then too you can say it's a truly strong special Saturn, because Saturn rules the Trikona house and it is in mutual aspect or conjunction with the 4th lord Jupiter. And Jupiter here also rules, for mind you, for a Virgo ascendant native, it also rules the 7th house. Or for a Gemini ascendant native, where Saturn rules the 9th house and Jupiter rules the 10th house. If they are in conjunction with each other or mutual aspect with each other, then too it's a special Saturn, because Saturn rules the Trikona house and Jupiter rules the 10th house. So very strong Dharam karmadipati yoga. And also because Jupiter rules both the 7th house and the 12th house, and Saturn rules the Trikona house, then too it becomes a very strong Dharam karmadipati yoga, very strong Raj Yoga, because here Saturn rules the 9th house through its Trikona sign of Aquarius. Then a very special conjunction, and this is only after Jupiter, the conjunction with Mercury. Saturn's best conjunction is not with any other planet apart from Jupiter, it's with Mercury. Why with Mercury? Because Mercury is the planet of analysis. Mercury is the planet of very patiently, very dutifully completing the work right down to the dot and not complaining, being patient with data, with analysis. And for data analytics you need a lot of patience, and Mercury is the planet of completion. So Mercury doesn't like incomplete work, imperfect work. So a person with strong Mercury wants to do work dedicatedly, using data, using information and doing analysis, and to take intellectual decisions, practical decisions, logical decisions. Same thing with Saturn. Saturn is also the planet of logic, duty, responsibility, loyalty, commitment. So to a large extent, lot of these energies between Mercury and Saturn are very complementary. Then Saturn is the planet of servitude, and Mercury rules in the Kalpurush Kundli the 6th house through its Virgo sign. 6th house is also the planet of, 6th house is also the house of service. So when these two come together, it's a very potent combination, where using the patience, logical ability, intellectual ability of Mercury, the completion orientedness and the perseverance, strong commitment orientedness, and the tendency to put in a lot of hard work. So when Saturn and Mercury come together, this can be a very potent combination, especially for those works which require a lot of dedication, which require a lot of focus, especially when research is being done, when analytics is being done, for people who want to invest money or who are advising others to invest money in banks, in taxation, in accounts, or they're doing high level of analytics or high level of research for very critical industries, then too this can be a very potent combination. So if you have Saturn and Mercury, especially where Saturn is ruling the 10th house or the Saturn is ruling the 7th house, this is a very special Saturn, because Saturn is conjunct with Mercury and a very potent energy has come together. Say for example, Saturn and Mercury together with in the 7th house in the Libra sign, where Saturn is exalted, or in the 10th house in the Libra sign, where again Saturn is exalted. For example, for Capricorn ascendant native, it's a fantastic conjunction, fantastic energy. Secondly, even for an Aries ascendant native, if Saturn and Mercury come together, where Saturn rules the 10th house and Mercury rules the 6th house, they come together, this can be very potent karmic energy given to you to be able to do fantastic work, great work, completion oriented works. Highest servitude can be seen through this placement. Just mind you, Saturn and Mercury in the 7th house in Libra or any sign can be a very dicey placement. Even in exaltation, this can be a dicey placement, because in a married life there is less chance of being too analytical, too complaining, using data. You require more emotion, you require more flexibility. So Saturn and Mercury in the 7th house can be a little dicey for married life. However, for any partnership, for any teamwork, can be a great placement. But if you want to see any conjunction which can do very well in the 7th house, can be only with Saturn and Jupiter, usually where Saturn is placed in its own sign or its exaltation sign or in friendly signs. Then a special Saturn where it is given the special status conferred by Jupiter rather than Saturn itself being in a special placement. It is a placement where Jupiter gives Saturn a special status because of Jupiter's aspect being on Saturn through either its 5th aspect or 9th aspect, not in mutual aspect. Here I am talking about Saturn not very well placed, but because it is in 5th aspect or 9th aspect from Jupiter and it is not able to aspect Jupiter back, there Jupiter is conferring a special status to Saturn to make it a special Saturn, but in very specific placements. And here, especially if Saturn is placed in own sign or in exaltation, either in the 7th house or in the 10th house, and is under aspect from Jupiter from either the 6th house when Saturn is in the 10th house, or from the second house and Saturn is in the 10th house, or when Saturn is in the 7th house and Jupiter is placed in the 3rd house, or when Saturn is in the 7th house and Jupiter is placed in the 11th house. Then too, in these situations, Saturn is given a special status by Jupiter because of Jupiter aspecting Saturn and Saturn being in a very, very strong placement, especially in the Sasha Yoga, where Saturn is in its own sign or is in its exaltation sign. This can be one of the best placements of Saturn, where Saturn is in a Sasha Yoga either in the 7th and the 10th house and in aspect from Jupiter, while it is not aspecting Jupiter back. So, if Saturn is in the 7th house, Jupiter aspecting Saturn, then married life can also be better off rather than when Saturn is alone in the 7th house or when Saturn is in a bad dosha. Then lastly, another special placement where lot of people miss. If Saturn is between any two benefics, especially in the Kendra or a Trikona house, which means either in the Kendra houses, which means especially, I'm not talking about the Lagna here. I'm sorry my friends if any of you have Saturn in the Lagna. Saturn in the Lagna will have a lot of reduced energy. But if Saturn has in the 4th house, 7th or the 10th house, two benefics, not malefics mind you, benefics on either side of Saturn, then to become the special Saturn. A lot of energy is given to Saturn to be a truly beneficial planet, where through a lot of patience you will be able to get a lot of good results. So for example, Saturn is in the 4th house with Moon on one side of Saturn, say in the 3rd house, and Venus going into the 5th house, or Saturn being in the 10th house with Jupiter being in one side of Saturn and Mercury being on the other, or Saturn is in the, say for example, in the 7th house where Venus is in the 8th house, where Mercury is in the 6th house, then too it can be a truly strong Saturn. Or if even in the 7th house, if Moon goes into the 6th house but Jupiter goes into the 8th house, then it can be a truly special Saturn, because there are two benefics on either side of Saturn. When Saturn has to be in a friendly sign, own sign, or an exaltation sign, and it has to be only in the Kendra or the Trikona houses. Just to give you an example, for a Capricorn ascendant native, where Saturn is in Libra in exaltation in the 10th house, Mercury is in exaltation in the 9th house, and Jupiter is in the 11th house in the Scorpio sign, then too this is a truly special Saturn, because it has two benefic planets on either side and Saturn is exalted. So friends, now that we have seen a number of placements for Saturn where it is a truly special Saturn, don't need to worry about Saturn being, a planet of worry or planet not giving good results. I've seen a number of videos where people send me links and say, what about this, where Saturn is truly made out to be the biggest enemy, the most trouble giver. If Saturn is in all the 12 houses, people say there will be some trouble coming from there. So now that is not so very right. Saturn is the planet of patience. Saturn has a lot of karmic energy. If Saturn is in a truly special placement, and mind you, even in 6th, 8th and the 12 houses, Saturn is the Karaka of these houses. Saturn protects these houses more in its own sign or its exaltation sign rather than destroys that. So Saturn in 6th, 8th and the 12th houses in own sign or exaltation is not a bad Saturn. Saturn in the 8th house especially gives the longest life, especially if in own sign or exaltation. So you don't really need to worry about Saturn, especially if it's a truly special Saturn, and a big boon is given to you where troubles will be very, very less. You still have to work hard, you still have to be very patient, but the best results, long perseverance oriented results and most stable results over a period of time will be given to you if you truly have a special Saturn in your horoscope. So look into your horoscope, understand the placement of Saturn, give your thanks to the zodiac if you have got a special Saturn, but ensure that you use it very well, because this opportunity will be given to very few people. So friends, like this video, share this video, and if you're looking for a personal consultation from me, please reach out to me at the link given below. Till some other time with some other video, this is the friend astrologer and guide Irfan signing off. Ciao.